Presented by Horns and Hooves Entertainment. You're watching Bob Hansen, Tom Uchek, Sean O'Malley, Adam Fitzgerald, and Andy Van Meer. You still up? Live. It's Buffalo After Dark.
Welcome to Buffalo After Dark, everybody. It is, of course, Thursday night, August 5th. You've got all of us here as usual. Of course, Mr. Buffalo Bob here with his, I don't know what we're going to call it tonight, but all we know is if this show sucks tonight, it's because his Wi-Fi sucks.
Get fucked!
No, the show's going to be entertaining because you got the Astro fan in the house. So
Suck a dick. How about that? Suck a dick.
Right. Hey, of course, Mr. Howard joining us from the Howard Hour. Nice to have you back.
And soon to be Trev Stroh's YouTube channel.
Trev Strohs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, Andy Van Meer, a.k.a. Craig Anderson.
Hello.
Hey, tell us how you really feel about Craig Anderson.
Yeah, I missed it last week. Why don't you give us a little recap?
No! No!
Not even 5 minutes! Not even 5 minutes!
Why don't we introduce
Please
the guy
mentor
above
my
me,
goalie.
too?
Please mentor my young goalie.
This guy up here.
Show them way.
That guy. Lance McCullers Jr., who shut out the fucking crybaby Dodgers on Tuesday night.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck themselves. Every single one of them.
Hey, the Dodgers won last night. Oh, yeah. Versus the Astros.
Against the Astros' fifth starter, they just gave him a layup win. They almost blew it too.
Right.
It's all good.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Cheat your way.
So while Andy recovers from the news of Craig Anderson being brought onto the Sabres for a year, you guys are welcome to join us. So, of course, usual phone number 929-205-6099, meeting ID and passcode are all in the chat, and you get to talk with all of us geniuses. But let's get right to it, because I know, Trevor, you were talking about this in the pre-show, and we'll talk about the whole Bills and Sabres stadium stuff a little bit later, but you were talking about Carson Wentz, and sucks to be Andy right now because Carson Wentz is going under the knife again.
To say I'm surprised, I'm not at all. I think I was totally against this signing from the start. I try to be optimistic. I was on a show called Bring the Juice Colts podcast, and we covered this. Like, how would the impact of Quentin Nelson affect Carson Wentz? And I said, well, it could only affect it in a positive light because he's probably one of the best offensive linemen in the game. But you can tell even now, even with the second-ranked offensive line, not even in the preseason yet, bam, gets injured. Like, that is Carson Wentz's fate right there. And if the Colts were smart, they would not throw Eason out there, give him all the confidence in the world because he was a rookie from 2020. Didn't see any preseason time, obviously, because of the COVID break. So what they should do is they should go out and trade for Nick Foles because you put Foles up with Frank Reich, and he'll be fine, I think. He should be fine. He won the Super Bowl with Frank Reich. But considering the Bears now have Fields and what's-his-face, Red Rocket, Andy Dalton,
Yeah.
Nick Foles is not going to see any playing time, so the Colts can trade a 6th-round pick for him, get him for cheap, use him until Wentz comes back. Like, I think that's your best option rather than throwing Ellinger or Eason out there. But to say I'm not surprised, yeah, is an understatement. I was so on board. After the Jimmy from the Colts, Andrew Luck rumors were shot down and those fake text messages were exposed. Andrew Luck wasn't coming back. I was all aboard the Sam Darnold train. And then the next day, the Colts signed their new court. They trade for Carson Wentz. I'm like, no. They just traded for Carson Wentz. And now the Sam Darnold thing doesn't seem to be too bad right now, does it?
Well, I've heard Sam Darnold's doing pretty well for himself right now with the Panthers.
Yep, and you put him with that young receiving core. You put him with that young receiving core in Indianapolis, and I think he'd do just as fine. But for some reason, the only reason why they brought Wentz in was because of Frank Reich. If let's just say Josh McDaniels didn't Judas didn't pull the snake move and went back to New England and he was still the Colts coach, we'd have no Carson Wentz here. Not saying that I want Josh McDaniels as our head coach. He can eat a dick. But if he was still here, I think Wentz, the idea of Carson Wentz would be idiotic. And even with Frank Reich, I think that idea is stupid anyway, because even if he balls out for a few games, every time he gets touched, I'm going to be looking at the TV like, is he okay? And I did that all the time with Andrew Luck after his first few injuries, and that wasn't very fun. So if we can get a fresh blood quarterback in there, one that hasn't been battered around too much. I know that Foles separated his shoulder in 2019 with the Jags or something like that. He got hit super hard in that week 1. But other than that, he's never had a really serious injury. And I think you put him with Frank Reich, this young group of wide receivers, this flashy group of running backs, this great offensive line, I think he'd do great until Wentz comes back. But they're not going to do it. They have all the confidence in Jacob Eason, just like how they did in Jacoby Brissett a few years ago. And guess what? They went 7-9. This is deja vu all over again. So I was against Wentz from the beginning. I'm still against it now, and I think we still have him on contract for 2 more years.
On the bright side, at least Dallas ended up taking at least a 5-yard loss on that last sack, so at least it's still tied at 0, and ball just almost got picked off. So
yeah, which is really I feel like this whole thing with Carson Wentz, I think it was a bit of a gamble, and I think the Colts gave a bit too much on him. But then again, Quentin Nelson also got injured, so it's like they're not even in their first preseason game yet, and it's almost like there's doom and gloom with the Colts already, and they have to just make a panic move and then go out and get Nick Foles or someone that could possibly be available. Maybe Mitch Trubisky, because there was talks the Bills might trade him.
Yeah, I think he's probably your best option, either him or Nick Foles. But I think to save Trubisky's career alone, he needs to sit behind Josh Allen for a year to get comfortable with his stuff again. But going back to what you said about what they gave up for Wentz, I think it was a low-risk gamble, very low risk. That's the only good thing. The Eagles wanted 2 first-rounders, if you remember, before they traded him. And
I remember that.
Chris Ballard's like, you're smoking a full-ass bowl of crack on that one if you want 2 first-round.
It wasn't even worth close to first.
They gave him a conditional first, but the condition is, in order for the Eagles to get the first-round pick, Wentz either needs to make the playoffs or he needs to take 70% of the snaps. If he's out the first 4 to 5 weeks, the Colts can keep their first-round pick and only give the Eagles a second-round pick. So it's very low risk. I don't think they gave up too much for him. If they gave up 2 first-rounders, I'd be on here fuming, be so mad. But I know Chris Ballard's not that stupid to give up 2 first-round picks for Carson Wentz. But where we go from here, this is a total quarterback carousel with Frank Reich. He's been through Andrew Luck, Jacoby Brissett, Phillip Rivers, and now whoever the fuck. This is just, I feel bad for him, for Frank Reich, and I also feel bad for Chris Ballard because he's trying to, bridge out these quarterbacks. He hoped he could get Rivers for another year. He retired and draft a rookie quarterback this year. Rivers ends up retiring, so they have to trade for a quarterback in February, and they draft defense, heavy on defense this year with Kwity Paye and Deo. So who's going to be the quarterback of the future? That's still up for grabs. I'm not sure. Probably a guy that they drafted. It could be Eason if he gets his feet wet a little bit, finds his groove. But as of right now, I could not tell you who's going to be their future guy. And it doesn't help the fact that they're facing against the NFC West this year and the AFC East. So if the quarterbacks aren't healthy and Nelson's not healthy to start off the year, this is Tennessee's division to snag.
Well,
I think Bobby was going to say something.
Yeah, go for it.
What about Jacksonville?
I'm not sold on Jacksonville. I think Tebow's going to get cut before week 1. I think Lawrence is going to take a little while for him to find his stuff. So they might finish around 500. They'll be a lot better than last year when they went 1-15. They might win half of their games, I think. But I think he'll go through some growing pains here and there. Defense still has to get a little bit better. I think the Colts will finish second in the division. I think Houston's going to finish dead last, I would think. Jacksonville finishes third. I still think Tennessee wins it. Going out and getting Julio Jones, Derrick Henry's coming back for another year, and even though I'm not that sold on Tannehill, I still think he's manageable. But with guys departing like Corey Davis, I think those are the wide receiving department's going to be a little bit weaker than usual, but they got Julio Jones, so
Yeah, I think so.
Tennessee wins it.
Yeah. And one other piece of news I saw over the week, which I think is worth looking at, is I would say from the last 24 hours or so, maybe 48, was there's been talks of trade talks heating up again with Deshaun Watson. And on yesterday, around I want to say nearly 3 o'clock, there was a report from Mike Florio on NBC Sports. He said, and I quote, that the Panthers are quietly keeping an eye out on Deshaun Watson. And then later that same night, because nothing has happened yet, there was talks there was heats. Basically, there was like trade talk, bursting up at this point between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Houston Texans, and they're saying that.
There he goes again. There's his Wi-Fi. It's gone.
What the fuck,
Yeah.
guy?
I know. I apologize in advance, guys, because my Wi-Fi is fucking garbage, and it's weird that way. But anyway. So what I was trying to say is there was trade talks between the Eagles and the Texans late last night, and they might still be working out on a trade as we speak, but the Panthers are in it.
I think the Panthers makes way more sense on both sides. Eagles, too. They don't have anything to give up for him. If they give up all these consecutive first-round picks, their team's going to be in shambles for years to come. So I think the Panthers make way more sense. I don't think Deshaun plays another snap in Houston. I really don't think he does. So I think the Panthers would make more sense.
Yeah, I agree with you. But then it becomes a question, like, what do you do with that situation, specifically with Darnold there?
Why don't you give Darnold to Houston and then bring back Bill O'Brien for a day so the Colts can trade a 7th-round pick and Carson Wentz for Sam Darnold?
Oh, God. But you know what? I'll be right back. I might have a solution to this Wi-Fi problem. I have an idea. So let me see.
So while Bobby goes and whacks himself off, in the meantime, trying to fix the so-called Wi-Fi, I was going to say, actually, anyone watching the Hall of Fame game, Dallas is up 3-0. At least the Steelers' defense ended up stopping them at the goal line. So
Seems pretty typical. Okay.
Of course, the game of no names, basically.
All right. So I just went in and I grabbed my Ethernet cable that was connected to my PlayStation 5, and I plugged it into the back of my computer.
Oh, okay. As I say, you're actually not cutting out for a moment now.
So it actually worked.
Yeah, at least for right now.
Fuck yeah, let's go. Anyway, so hopefully this works for the next 5 minutes. So, yeah, so.
Yeah, hopefully your mom works for the next 5 minutes, too.
The fuck you say?
Danny DeVito would approve that.
Oh my God, that was so off. That was just so off the cuff. Bam, in your face.
Yeah, I know. Because I did his mom 20 years ago.
Didn't even know you 20 years ago, dude.
Fuck your mother.
Hey, Craig Anderson, tell us how you really feel about you going to the Sabres now.
Oh, I can't wait to teach all the young kids how to play goalie.
Yeah, I heard that he
Only
wanted
gonna be there for a year.
The Sabres were looking at him as a mentor for UPL. I'm like, okay, UPL's career's fucked then because Craig Anderson lets in 4 goals a night. Mentor my ass. And then I got slandered on Facebook for it. I commented, I'm like, this is hysterical that you guys can say Craig Anderson can be a mentor to a young goalie like UPL. And they're like, why? He's a seasoned pro vet. I'm like, he's not a fucking pro at anything. If anything, he's like I said before, a goalie that lets in 4 goals a night out of a Senators reject. Like, get out of here with that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. But, I mean, that was some of the big news of this week. And then, I mean, one of the things I was looking for is, and Bobby would like this, is that I'm actually in the running to try and win tickets for the opening night at the new UBS Arena in Long Island. So.
Yeah, but that game's not till November, though.
Yeah, but I'm still in the running for it. Hell, if I can win, like, good seats, you know what we're going to be doing.
Why don't you eat a fat dick and come down to Long Island for the Sabres Island game in December?
Whoa!
We're done with the penis
the fuck,
reference.
Bobby?
We're done with
You're
the
trying
penis
to win
references.
fucking free tickets. Doesn't matter who it's for. Jeez.
As I say, it sounds like he's not getting enough lately.
No, apparently not.
Tom, bring somebody up. Being fucking ungrateful. Bring the wife. Fuck Bobby. He can sit at home.
There we go.
If anything, my wife to be would enjoy it, but that's not what we're here for.
Well, that's not what she tells us about you every day.
She doesn't communicate with me at all, Bobby. So you're safe with me.
Oh, I know. I know that I'm definitely safe with you, Trevor. Believe me, pal.
That's all good. You know, we have to bust everybody a little bit now and then in this show. That's like part of it.
So my thinking as far as like my comedy goes is like if I'm fucking with you or if I'm joking around with you, it's an indication that I like you.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's all part of it. And the good thing is
I
all of us like each
you,
other.
Bobby.
Yeah. But a big news thing that came up this week, of course, and this like really was a hot button issue over the weekend, especially, but good old Kim Pagula.
Nope.
100%
Nope.
wants the money. And she wants all of us to pay for a new stadium and for renovations to the KeyBank Center. Now, the other thing that's happened is since that time is that executive Poland Cars has come out and said that basically that news story was full of crap and they don't want 100% of everything. But at the same time, now we don't even know if the stadium truly will be in Orchard Park or not because even the mayor doesn't even know what's going on. So it's a crapshoot at this point.
It's laughable. I'm not paying money for that. Well, as long as you throw in like, what did she say? Possible KeyBank Center renovations, or was it definite?
No, it's definite. It's going to be, and so here's what they came up with. It's a $1.5 billion proposal. The Bill Stadium right now, wherever it's going to go, it's pegged at $1.1 billion. The rest of it is going to be renovations for the KeyBank Center. So the KeyBank Center is going to see anywhere between $200 to $400 million worth of renovations.
Well,
Okay.
I was gonna say to ask for $1.5 billion that is publicly funded 100%, I think it's bullshit. That's an instant kill right there for me. Yeah, and on top of all that, you and I had this conversation the other day, and you told me that there was a clause in the contract when the Pagulas bought the Bills that they were not allowed to move the team outside of Buffalo.
Well, same thing happened with Sabres when they bought the Sabres from Tom Golisano, and the condition of the sale is that the Sabres can never be moved, period.
Exactly. So, and then on top of all that, and the Pagulas apparently were rumored to have the audacity to say, if you don't give us what we want because we're the king and queens of Buffalo, if you don't supply to our demand, we are moving the team to Austin, Texas.
Why don't you move the Sabres to Austin so we can get them out of this fucking city?
What if they end up being good in like 2 years?
I don't care. Well,
I don't want to hear any of that goddamn talk.
That is very
Seems
wishful thinking. Wishful thinking they're going to be good in 2 years. Come on, Bobby, get real.
I mean, I'm just being optimistic.
I'm just being realistic. They will not do shit in 2 years.
Well, they'll be ass, but they won't be ass. What if Kevin Adams actually produces a good product on the ice?
Again, wishful thinking.
Although I will say, Mike Peca coming back to the organization is a great thing. I mean, and that was actually not a Kevin Adams move. That was a Jason Karamanos move.
Which is great to see, because I think most people at my age and Tom's age and Danny DeVito's age is that when we were all kids, other than Trevor, because Trevor was probably swimming in his dad's balls when Michael Peca was playing for the Sabres.
What did I say about penis references, Bobby?
Yeah. I had to. If anything, I need a picture of Trevor. Fuck.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Why do you need a
So he
picture of me?
jerk off to you later?
Why do you need a picture of me? That sounded so suspect. That was weird. That was so weird.
Yeah, that was a little off.
I need a picture of
That's
my victims. That I know. Like
that's some that's some Andrew Cuomo type shit.
No, I am not Andrew Cuomo. Fuck him. But no, that's not the type of picture I was looking
I
for.
don't know about that.
Found it.
Oh, Jesus.
Found it.
Wow, I think that was all one of us from a certain time in history.
Yeah.
Indeed. But the point I'm trying to make is, yeah, that's what Trevor looked like when Michael Pekka played for the Sabres.
Wasn't he a Sabre in like 2001?
Yeah, but then he got traded to the Islanders for Tim Connolly.
I was alive in 2001.
Yeah, but you didn't know what a hockey puck was.
Hmm. Yeah, but I was still alive in 2001. I wasn't a fucking tadpole.
No, you were definitely a kid.
I was a kid.
Well, no, technically you would be an infant.
I was an infant child.
Practically speaking.
Right. Yeah, but in any case, though, I mean, so Mike Peca coming back, he's going to be an assistant coach with the Rochester Americans. That's a great move. Love that move. He actually had a lot of success with the junior Sabres as well, so that was definitely a great thing to see there. And on top of it, I mean, he was actually a player development coach with the Capitals for a while as well, back in early February. So he ended up getting some experience on that. But I mean, he had a great career. I mean, he was with, of course, the Sabres for a long time. And then what ended up happening is that he was then, of course, traded. And of course, he went to the Islanders. Then he ended up getting in return. And this was kind of a stupid move by Regier, but he ends up getting Tim Connolly and Taylor Pyatt.
Well, at least when they were first there, that trade at least worked out because at least the Sabres went far with those two than Michael Pekka did with the Islanders.
True. I mean, he did help the Islanders get to the playoffs, but then Tim Connolly was concussion central and basically had to retire from the game after he ended up getting traded to the Maple Leafs eventually. But then, of course, he did. Pekka did finish out his career with the Oilers and also with the Columbus Blue Jackets, and then basically from there, that was it. He retired in 2010.
Well, I was gonna say, Pekka retired with the Blue Jackets in like 2009.
Michael Pekka is the first line center on NHL 2K7 for PS2 for the Leafs.
Interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And then of course, I mean, we'll touch a little bit more on the stadium thing in a moment. But of course, if any of you guys want to jump on and join us, you're more than welcome to. You know the deal. Give us a call. Jump on Facebook. We have everything opened up here. So, kind of bouncing back to the stadium thing. So, of course, we know the 100% of funding is never going to happen. There's no way that's ever going to happen. But now, I mean, the one debate is, where's the stadium truly going to go? Because now there's reports it's going to be Orchard Park next to the existing stadium. There's been some reports that it may go downtown. The people that tailgate are all irritated either way if it goes downtown. But then there's other people that want an actual dome stadium, whereas Orchard Park would be open air probably. So what do you guys think?
Let's have Andy go first because I think he has a pretty strong opinion. Plus, he's been quiet as a mouse all fucking night. So you might as well just let him go first.
Well, no, I was gonna talk about Pekka, but I guess we'll get back to him.
Yeah, we can talk about Pekka too.
Yeah, we'll get back to him. As for the new stadium, I don't know. I gave that spiel a while. I don't know what episode that was on, but I always wanted it down by the waterfront. And I know there's some area out there they can probably a nice little stadium right out by the water with some pretty decent parking, but at this point, I really don't care. I just get a new stadium, put a dome on that sucker, so you can maybe get a pitch for, I don't know, maybe a Super Bowl someday. You know, get some revenue around here and some other things that can go into having a dome stadium. I mean, and this with events that can happen in a dome stadium. So as long as this bullshit about going to a different state stays on good, and this happens all the time the past couple of years where they start talking about, oh, we're gonna move the bills, sales up and that bullshit. It just kind of strikes me that they put out an actual city somewhere else. Like you heard of Toronto a few years ago, but I mean that was never realistic. But I could see something like that happening in Texas because they have state sales tax. The ghouls would make a fortune. However, I mean, they would probably get absolutely scolded for it if
That was very biblical.
All right, Bobby, you've been in the current stadium. What do you think? Actually, you've been in both buildings, so.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, if the Bills are looking to get a new stadium in any way, shape, or form, which they have to at this point, it really doesn't matter to me because I'm not a resident in Buffalo, but just from being there for a long time and just having to be visiting the city and visiting the area, I would say probably put it in downtown where it's probably at easy access. You know what I mean? Like put it right next to like KeyBank Center. And I said this a long time ago. Build a little bridge gateway there. Use the rally or the trolley train system and make it an extension of it. And then have drop off fans at the games for that perspective. Like make like an exclusive tailgating area for Bills Mafia, and then everybody else has to be casual. Like that's what the Jets do. The Jets do have their own little like section for like the hardcore fans, and then everybody else casually has to tailgate from within their car. So that's what I think. But as for like the condition of the stadium, it really depends who you ask. Like for me, I'm used to an outdoor stadium. There's one in MetLife. I've been there for many, many years for Jets games. I'm used to the cold. But I'm also used to the cold in Buffalo, because I've been out I've outside. Yeah, I can't talk. I've been outside on both sides. So I think if they want to get snow to come down, I would say if you want to make it intense, build a retractable roof with a dome in it. Like make it like a dome with a retractable roof. That's how I would do it.
Yeah, I would do that too. In case you wanted to have the Super Bowl in Buffalo, I think that would be your best option. But I don't even know if Buffalo's a big enough city to even host a Super Bowl.
That's not. I don't know about that. I mean, University of the basketball team, UB Bulls, is a pretty big school in the country. So I think if they're able to go to the NCAA tournament and win it all, apparently 3 years ago, whatever it was, then there's no doubt in my mind that they're able to put that up there. I mean, look, they were able to host the draft a few years ago for the Sabres, and they held. Yeah, and they held an all-star game there in the 1970s. So I think the NFL is more than capable of using the funds for a new stadium in Buffalo and put the Super Bowl in Buffalo. And like Andy said, it would bring the city some revenue. I mean, and they would have probably lost money if they didn't do it, but look what the Vikings did. The Vikings held a Super Bowl a couple of years ago in their brand new stadium. The Falcons too. The Falcons got a new stadium. The Rams are hosting their new stadium with a Super Bowl next year. So to say that Buffalo would not be granted a Super Bowl would be a slap in the face to most Buffalonians in that area.
Right, and actually, let's not forget the Giants and the Jets. When MetLife first opened, they had a cold weather Super Bowl in that brand new stadium.
Actually, you know what's funny? Because I actually remember that day, and they were saying it was supposed to be the coldest Super Bowl of all time, but it actually was really, really warm that day. It was like maybe in the 60s in the middle of February at that time.
Yeah, I mean, so it's definitely doable. And I mean, in knowing where some of the sites have been thought of for downtown, I mean, one of them is just down the street from the KeyBank Center if the Bills Stadium moves there. Then another one was actually a waterfront proposal that was floated by Pat Freeman and George Hasiotis. Now, George Hasiotis died a couple years ago, but Pat Freeman actually made a ton of sense. Now, I will say I don't follow him a whole lot, but his proposal was for a retractable roof stadium right on the waterfront that would have had a combination convention center, a sports hall of fame, and they would have had a bunch of other attractions right with it. And the reason a lot of people didn't go for it is because they thought, oh, well, the reason that it didn't really get off the ground is because the stupid NFTA didn't want anything on their land that they do absolutely zero with. And that's a total bureaucracy. That's a total joke. But, I mean, the other thing is that it was going to be completely privately funded. And yet, the state wouldn't even go for it. They're like, whatever. We're not even going to care. It's like, that maybe they need to really look at that proposal. But I mean, at the same time, the current Bill Stadium, a lot of people say there's nothing wrong with it. I actually did have a chance to take a look at the study that was put out, and Bill Stadium, it may not cosmetically look anything bad, but the truth of the matter is there's a ton of rebuilding that's going to be needed in that place if it were to stay open. And part of that was completely replacing the upper deck because it's deteriorated to the point where it needs it. So, I mean, that's kind of the thing. Put everything downtown. That's always been my preference on it. You know, build it up to where you have people going down there. And then as for the KeyBank Center, even though it's still relatively decent, I mean, it's going to need work. I mean, it needs a facelift. So, I mean, thing I was kind of thinking where they have that whole Alumni Plaza right now and close it all, extend that atrium out and close it in. And basically there you've got more open space. And then if they extend the train, I mean, open up, add an entrance on the back part of the building, connect it to the old DLW terminal, and then there you go. You've got more room. And then, of course, on top of that, the one thing that we all remember is that I ended up, of course, doing my center board. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind a nice little my creation in there and a nice little kickback from Pagula Sports and Entertainment. Thank you very much.
KeyBank Center needs a renovation yesterday.
Yeah, it does. And needs new seats in there, too.
KeyBank Center is honestly ass. It really is ass. It's honestly ass.
Yeah.
It's technologies from like the 90s. It hasn't been upgraded in 20 years. I remember seeing one time on Channel 4, it was like the Sabres, or during a Sabres game, some security guy or whoever was there replaced a cup holder with replaced a seat with a 2x4. It was like the seat armrest with a 2x4. I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right.
That happened. Actually, it was funny because a couple of years ago when I was on a show with Ryan Thomas. It was the Thomas Take Sports podcast, and me and him talked about it for over an hour about like different renovations and things that should happen. And that was one of the things that even then it came up when we ended up talking about that. So, and hopefully his show's doing all right. I haven't talked to him in a while, but that being said, I mean, they need a massive upgrade. And one thing I will say though, I don't mind the KeyBank Center, but it's not the odd. And the thing I wish, if they were to redo the entire KeyBank Center and make it even better, for the love of God, the lower 100 level needs to be steep. That thing is like flat. It's like I want everyone on top of each other like it was the off.
Yeah, I remember going to a nosebleed seat at a Sabres game a couple years ago, and I remember being all the way in the back, and I felt like I was going to fall off.
Yeah, that's what I want in the entire building. And it's like, like the odd, like way back. I mean, it didn't matter if you're in the lower bowl or the upper bowl, but steep seats are always the best way to go.
No, I don't want to die. I hated those seats when I was a kid.
I mean, I always felt like I was going to fall. I
did. I hate fucking going out there. No way.
Yeah. Although
I definitely fit in the 300s now.
Right. Although true story though is like if any of us were to ever see a game in Minnesota with the Minnesota Wild, you go in their upper deck and it's so steep that they actually have railings in every single row to keep you from falling forward.
That's awesome.
I'd like to go to a Minnesota Wild game, but until they figure that city out, I am not going to Minnesota anytime soon.
Right. Like I'm hoping like with the Islanders when UBS opens up, I hope that place is steep as hell in there for the seats.
Steep? Well, no, let's see the art. Yeah,
like I mean like stacked on top of each other. I don't mean like expensive.
Well, the Coliseum, I can tell you, is very steep. In the back area, like it's very flat, but it's very steep in like in the middle rows at the old barn. I can tell you that from experience.
That old barn was cool.
Yeah, I wish that you got a better viewing of the entire Coliseum. I kind of regret bringing you to those seats, but if you had fun, I'm not going to complain about it. But
yeah, I mean, it was definitely a good time because, I mean, when we look at what we did all day, I mean, of course, the autographs, we ended up doing that. The tailgating was fun. We got laughed at by some of the Islanders fans for wanting Phil Housley fired. The Swedish media incident, which we've talked about on the show a few times. We always had that. And Bobby's Fire Phil Housley sign got confiscated. But of course, Jack Eichel was laughing his ass off when he saw that. Same thing with Erod. And then try to think. And then the only bad thing about it is we got blown out. So
yeah, I remember watching. That was
like 7-1 or something like that, or 6-1.
I remember watching that game. I think that was an afternoon matinee game.
No, it was a night game.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't get out of there till like after 9 o'clock.
Oh yeah, I remember Rob and Leonard. Yeah, totally beating us pretty good. I remember that.
Yeah, Leonard, I don't think was on the Sabres by that point.
No, he was on the Islanders, wasn't he?
I believe
I think he was.
I'm gonna double check on this. I definitely think though, when I look back on it, I think it was Olmark. I remember because I have the pictures on Instagram, so I'm going through my Instagram account to see who came out for that game. I'm pretty sure it was Allmark, but I could be wrong. And by the way, it really sucks the Sabres didn't bring back Allmark, but I wish him all the best in Boston. But maybe they have plans for their goaltending system. But I really don't. I really don't know. Excuse me. I really don't know what they're gonna do. But we actually had a lot of fun. I don't know if anybody's seen this or not.
I remember that.
Yep. Everybody's seen this. Fire Housley. There's me, Tom, and my fiance Brittany.
Yep.
So the three of us were at the game. And I remember who was it? Was it Mike Harrington, Tom?
Yeah, Harrington gave you a nice little shout out and he was ripping you.
Yep, he gave me this.
Fuck him.
Yeah, he said, well, now, a fan in the Sabres jersey is holding up a place card at the glass in the warm-up, and it says, Fire Housley. And all the fans in there were like, bro, this guy's a douchebag.
Yeah. But then it was funny because we were walking around the entire concourse and you had to sign up like this.
Yeah.
You were just walking through. And it was funny because some of our we actually had like a few there was actually quite a few Sabres fans that came down to watch the game also. And the real hardcore Sabres fans wanted their pictures with us and they loved it. Then we had the people saying
fucking awesome.
Yeah. Then we had people saying go back to Canada.
Yeah, we got those.
That makes a lot of sense. Go back to Canada. You see, Sabres play in the United States of America.
Right. And then even better though, as the game went on, Eichel was beyond pissed because I remember a few times he was slamming his stick in the bench and he was like slamming the door in the bench. And
Yeah, Tom, because the Sabres millennial fans that don't know a damn thing will tell you Jack Eichel has an attitude problem. Ugh, ugh. I
right.
don't give a shit if he has an attitude problem. If he scores 35 goals, if you haven't heard my latest episode of my show, you can check it out. But I was basically going to the ends of the earth to defend this guy, and everyone's like, he's a locker room cancer. I'm like, are you in the locker room with him every single night? Do you know what goes down? Do you know how many coaches that guy's been through? How many GMs that guy's been through? I will always support that guy. And if he comes to the KeyBank Center next year, and I'm for some reason at a Sabres game, which I don't think I will be, but if he's in another team's uniform, I'm giving him a standing ovation and hope he scores a hat trick on us.
Listen, Trevor, as far as I like you, as far as like I understand where you're coming from, but here's the thing. You can have a master's degree or a bachelor's degree, and you could still be a fucking idiot.
Are you calling me an idiot, or are you calling Jack Eichel an idiot?
A bit of both.
How am I an idiot? Give me one Jack Eichel. What does the guy have to do?
You know what it is? My problem with Jack Eichel at this point is he's too much of a prima donna. He always whines and bitches about every fucking thing. Oh, I don't get my back surgery. Oh, I want to be the captain. Oh, I want $10 million. And yet the guy signs the fucking contract and he doesn't even fulfill his end of the bargain. Because it's like, if you're signing a monster contract for $10.25 million for the next 8 years, Trevor, 8 years,
Bobby?
and you're the captain of the franchise. And what?
Bobby, put yourself in his skates. You went through Bilesma, Housley, fucking Ralph Kruger, the worst coach in the history of hockey, and you expect him to have a happy face every single night. Are you kidding me?
Well, look at John Tavares. He had Jack Capuano for 7 years, okay? And then he had Barry Trotz, and he said no.
Yeah, well, he's actually been to the playoffs a few times in his career, too.
Yeah, and how far has JT gone to the playoffs? No,
He's been there. He's been there. Eichel has to come
when you
close.
get a taste of the playoffs, it's a different story. You want to kind of stay around to see where it goes.
Yeah, you want to be back every year.
well, yeah, of
But
course. Well,
5 to 6 years already and haven't even tasted it, even though they almost tasted it just prior to the
And I mean,
short cold season.
he's
It's not enough.
it's been what is it, year 7, year 6 with Eichel already, and it's taken them 6 years to build a team around him, and we couldn't find one competent GM to build a roster around your captain.
Well, that's Kim Pagula to thank for that.
I'd be fucking pissed too. I don't want to hear this attitude shit because he'll still go out there and he'll get you 30 goals. I don't care if he cusses out the media every single night. If he's scoring 30 goals for my team consistently, he's my captain.
Yeah, the captain.
Yeah, well, I don't know why you're putting quotes around it. He wears the C.
Because he whined like a bitch to get it. That's why.
Listen, you can have the C all you want, but if people in the locker room notice you're not that great of a captain, as we've seen some players come out and say so, that says a lot.
Yeah,
Well,
John
it
Sebastian
does say a
Diaz.
lot. It
Did you
does
see the
say a
comments
lot.
that? Did you see the comments that J.S. Diaz said the other day?
Oh yeah,
He needs to shut his mouth. He's played
He's
5
got
games.
he's got nothing. He's got nothing to worry about. He's not even on this team anymore. It
He's
doesn't
played
even make. He can
5
say anything
games.
he wants, and you're gonna believe him.
He's played 5 games in a Sabres uniform and hasn't done shit. He needs to shut up. He will never be as good as Jack Eichel.
It
And
doesn't matter, man. He's
you
in
have
the locker
all
room. He's seen that.
all these players coming out and saying something like that. I don't know if that's on your captain or if that's on your coach for losing the locker room. Because
Hey,
if you were truly a team, you would not be throwing your players under the bus. That's on your coach for losing the locker room.
But you know what, though, Trevor? I will say this. There's a very famous quote. Let me ask you a riddle. Riddle me this. What is the difference between humans and animals?
Well, technically, we are Homo sapiens, and therefore we are animals. But the type between us, it's like all mental stuff, like logic, logistics, and other things like that.
Here's the difference. Because animals would never allow the dumbest one to lead the pack.
Jack Eichel's not the dumbest one on the team. That's the most moronic statement I've ever heard.
He's also the most arrogant player on the team.
I'd be arrogant too if they treated me like this for 7 years.
Right. Because LeBron James would have been so much better than Jack Eichel in that situation. Is that why?
Just watch Jack Eichel get traded and watch him win the fucking Stanley Cup, and then all you guys saying, we got fleeced in this Jack Eichel trade. The same guys that were saying, run him out of town.
Well, Jack, I hate to tell you, mate, but you want to be traded? You got to be traded. But the point is, Trevor, is when you have a player like Jack Eichel, who's arguably the best player on your team and a top 10 center in the league, chances are you want to build around him. I agree with you.
Exactly.
But I don't agree with trading him, but at this point, the longer they hold on to him, the more of a distraction it's going to become. Because Kevin Adams and the Sabres already have a rocky relationship. His agent came out and called out the Sabres for fulfilling their end of the bargain, for basically bullshitting around with having to trade him. And now they're complaining more about the surgery. And then on top of all that, Kevin Adams is telling him, listen, you need to shut up. You're under a contract. We're the ones in control of this. And if you don't like it, tough shit. We're going to trade you when we find the right assets. So that's basically what they told him. It's the only person that you can blame in this situation is Jack, because he was too much of a narcissist to sign that monster contract, thinking he was going to have a great future in Buffalo, which turned out to be a bust for him. You signed that contract. You've already been the captain for 3 years, and you're on the verge of pretty much verbally and emotionally telling everybody, listen, this city sucks ass. I want to get out of here. And you know what? Fuck all y'all. Because now I want to go play for a contender. And meanwhile, I'm on a contender. You have to suffer like I did. It's basically what he's telling everybody.
Can you guys answer me this question? Why was Jack Eichel so worshipped in 2019-2020? And then the year where he gets hurt and is claimed to have an attitude problem, where he has this neck injury, spine injury, why did the fan base go a complete 180? If you remember 2019-2020, right around where the Sabres were kind of making a push for a wild card spot, like right before the whole pandemic, Jack Eichel was treated like a fucking god because
Buffalo almost made the playoffs that year.
And then
Buffalo almost made the playoffs.
Then this year he gets hurt, something that's beyond his control, and the fan base goes completely 180 and says, "Oh, he sucks. He's a locker room cancer." That's an absolute fucking joke.
I think
Jack Eichel's a great player, and that's that. Any team he gets traded to, they're going to be an automatic contender for the cup.
So you're saying if he were to go to the Ottawa Senators, they're cup contenders?
That's a step in the right direction, but Eichel's not going to go to the Senators. I'll tell you that. Eichel's going to go to a semi-established team, a team that can afford him, but a team that can make a push in the playoffs.
Right. Yeah. Figure something like the LA Kings or something along those lines.
Eichel's not going to, a team that's in shambles. I don't think he's going to the Sharks. I don't think he'd go to the Devils. But if he goes to a team like Yeah, like if he goes to a team like the Rangers, they're already established with young talent. You send them to New York, they're an automatic contender for the cup.
Islanders are loaded right now.
The Islanders are trying to get Vladimir Tarasenko, and I can certainly tell you they're not going after Jack Eichel. As much as they want him, they're not going to go after him.
It's you ever think Eichel is a little bit arrogant because the fans are this quick to turn on him?
No, I think it's because of he's always had that attitude when he was in Boston College. He always had that attitude.
Maybe he's just tired of losing. I don't know. I think if you're a professional player, would you want to sign a massive fucking 8-year-long contract with the Sabres, or would you want to go play with a contender?
Well, Trevor, whose fault is that?
Oh, it's not Jack's. It's the fucking
it's
man.
not Jack's. He's the one that put his pen on that thing. He's the one that put his signature on.
You are like the rest of the Sabres fans blaming the best player. It's a complete joke. You're not talking about the GMs that won't do their job. You're not talking about the head coaches that we've had that ruined Eichel's career. This is not on Jack. This is like Ryan Grigson. This is like Ryan Grigson with Andrew Luck. He ruined his fucking career.
Well, I hate to be that guy, but if you're the franchise man and you have a guy in your head, you obviously have to sign that contract. And maybe Jack, if he was actually honest, he would have probably just said, I don't want to play for you guys. Just trade my contract. Then I think it would be it would be shitty, but at the same time, he would probably still be like, hey, I want to, sign a contract elsewhere.
Or if Jack was truly your captain, you at least consider him getting that surgery instead of just saying no, fuck you, or you're not getting this.
Well, the point I'm trying to make is the fact that Jack Eichel had the audacity to sign that contract and say that I'm going to be here for a long time. This is where I want to be. And then all ends up lying about the whole fucking situation, probably since 2018. Dude, he got fucking miserable after Bilesma got fired. He's been an angry narcissist after he got fired.
When did he lie about wanting to stay in Buffalo? When did he lie? One time.
When did he lie? The first one was when he was signing up to be captain. It was, remember that whole debacle between him and Ryan O'Reilly? And there was a huge debate about who was going to be the captain. And they originally wanted to give it to O'Reilly, and that ended up being Jack Eichel getting it because Ryan O'Reilly opened his big mouth and said, I lost my passion for the game. And then a month or two later, they traded him to the Blues, won a Stanley Cup, got his passion again, which is bullshit. And then on top, then by that point, you already have Jack Eichel as your captain. So it's like, great. He's now serving it for 3 years. The establishment, Trevor, to being the captain is you have to earn it. Jack was gift wrapped this captaincy. And I'm not going to lie, because there were other candidates that I would have given it to. Jack, to me, was not my first answer.
What do you think about the Edmonton Oilers giving Connor McDavid the captaincy? That was gift wrapped in a bow as well.
What do you think this is with Buffalo then, Trevor? What the fuck is the difference? It's the same thing.
I'm asking you how you feel about McDavid. I'm not going into that. I'm asking you, do you think that McDavid earned it or was he gift wrapped it?
He was absolutely gift wrapped. Dude, he was the best player on the planet.
Well, who else are you going to give the captaincy to if it's not Jack? Like, Ryan O'Reilly's already gone. Are you going to give it to fucking who was on the team in 18-19? You're going to give it to fucking Skinner?
I would have given it to Skinner. I would have given it to Skinner.
Who didn't play a single game prior to that season, you'd give the captaincy to Skinner over Eichel.
Well, to be fair, Trevor, Brian Giunta was named captain before he played a game for the Sabres.
Yeah, I mean, veteran presence. Absolutely.
Exactly. That's what Jeff Skinner is. He's a veteran presence guy.
But has Jeff Skinner done anything? He hadn't been to the playoffs in a single time in his career. He played in Carolina. I mean, Brian Giunta was making runs in Jersey and Montreal too. Like, he was an experienced vet. Jeff Skinner was still young. Like, this is a Brian Giunta, local guy from Greece, New York, who made a bunch of playoff runs in his upper 30s. I mean, that's the same reason why they gave it to Craig Rivet, right? Like, Skinner was a very young vet that came from Carolina, didn't know much about winning. I wouldn't give him the captaincy, but I mean, that's why they gave it to Giunta. But I think Eichel, as soon as O'Reilly, if it wasn't O'Reilly, if he stayed there, I would have given it to O'Reilly. But he left, so I give it to Jack.
But there's one big difference, and that is Jeff Skinner is actually a lot more mature than Jack Eichel is as a leader quality.
Yeah, well, he also hustled the living shit out of the Sabres and their money, getting paid $9 million to hit the goddamn post every single night.
Oh my God! What do you think Jack Eichel's doing now with $10.25 million per year? What do you think?
What do I think he's doing? I think he scored over 30 goals in like a 50-some game season in 1920, gets injured. It's a fucking scoring over 30 goals in like a, that's why. That's why he's not scoring goals because he had a neck injury. He's been injured since training camp when the season got started.
Listen, I'm not blaming his injuries for the fact of his production. That's not what I'm pissed off about. It's the fact of how he's treated the team like absolute fucking garbage in the last 6 months. Because he said, make it to the playoffs this year. You get Taylor Hall for nothing. He goes for nothing. And yet they're about to trade him, and they want to wait for the proper opportunity. Trevor, hanging onto this argument is like hanging by a thread. The whole
well, you know what we can do? We can just agree to disagree because I know that Eichel, any team he goes to, he's going to be a contender. He's going to snipe on the Sabres. He's going to totally revamp his career, and that's not going to be on his talent. It's going to be from the top management down to the ice. When you have management that knows what they're doing, they win cups. Eichel's going to be put in that situation. He's going to win a cup. So I think we can just agree to disagree on this.
I would be happy for him, but at the same time, I still think he's an arrogant prick.
He's not an arrogant prick. He's just fed up with the incompetence of this fucking organization.
He's the whiniest bitch on the planet right now in the NHL.
I don't think he's whinier than Sidney Crosby.
No, but at least Crosby did something. Crosby actually did some few things throughout his career, winning multiple cups, winning a Hart Trophy, was actually sticking with one team and actually did something.
Yeah, why did he win a cup, Bobby? Because he had weapons around him.
Oh my God!
Something that the Sabres don't fucking have.
Evgeny Malkin, Marian Hossa.
Are you saying that Evgeny Malkin in his prime was not a weapon, like an assistant weapon to Sidney Crosby?
It was a huge weapon.
No, he wasn't.
Huge weapon.
No, wait. Stop. Time out. If you take out Malkin from the equation of Crosby, Crosby would be nowhere near where he is right now.
That's a lie. That's the
truth. Try it.
Hold on. Andy wants to get in.
Try it. I want to see that. Try it.
Hey, Andy wants to get in.
Children, shut the fuck up. My lord, like a bunch of bickering banshees. Listen, a lot of these fucking teams built with their high draft picks. Your McKinnon, Crosby, and Malkin, Fleury. You got to build within and build around it. Problem is, guys that they bring in and live up to their hype to help this team out. Also, this team needs better goaltending. They didn't go out and find it.
Nope.
That's another problem. You know about that. But you got to build within your draft picks. And then as these guys start rising, start bringing in the right better players to build around them. They're not doing this. They're just – Kevin Adams just did a new GM. Oh, I got a chance to get this guy. Why not? You could help him. This team needs scoring. It's simple. Didn't work out.
Yeah.
Same thing with Eric Stahl.
They went out
with
and
better
got
leadership.
They got Eric Stahl. They got Robin Leonard. They drafted Alex Nylander. None of that helps Jack Eichel. They went out and got Josh Georges. They traded away Ryan O'Reilly for a 20-year-old kid named Tate.
Right. They went to go get O'Reilly and McGinn. They went to go get Kane. They built all around this to build this team up, and it didn't fully work.
Right.
Nope. And then
now, is that coaching or that the talent on the ice?
And they definitely flopped on draft picks, especially in 2016 with Alex Nylander.
Right.
Okay, they flopped on that, and hopefully it turns out into a Yokaru. Also, the goaltending hasn't fully been there. When they needed a backup goaltender to help carry the load, they can rely on that. They're going to ruin the shit out of the fucking starting goaltender playing more than he should be. Robin Leonard, Carter Hutton. Hutton was the worst fucking signing. I know he had great stats coming here, and it went completely south.
That was a garbage signing.
And that killed us. I mean, look how many goaltenders we had to go through last year because even Hutton couldn't keep. He was like 1 in 10. I mean, it was garbage.
Yeah, like
vision or no vision.
Plus goals against or something.
He couldn't help this team in the backup role when they needed him to keep this team afloat, to get those wins that they needed to try and play a spot. They almost did that shortened season, but it's still they got gypped. we got gypped on that. It just you can ask for a more fucked up situation to just get left out, even on what was it, a 12 team playoffs on both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, we just missed by 3 points and playing Montreal that game right beforehand. I mean, it's just bad luck. Like it's all mixed in with. But Kevin had to learn that you have to build within, and then take those rising stars that you're going to build with, build around it. And unfortunately, he's going to have to rebuild it the way he wants to because he's there. It's not Botterill's rebuild. It's not Botterill's rebuild. It's not Tim Murray's rebuild. It's Kevin Adams' turn. Now, hopefully he can right this ship with the right people and right picks and the right kids. I liked a lot of these kids that they drafted. Brought a lot of Russian kids in. Everyone thought they were going crazy with European or but you watch the film and you see some good in these kids. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. And in a lot of what we've seen the last couple of years, I mean, especially when Murray was at the GM, I mean, originally everybody liked him because he was the anti-Darcy Regier. We all were there. We all saw it. We all lived through it. But then, of course, as Tim Murray went on, I mean, yes, he did bring in players such as Ryan O'Reilly, Evander Kane, and so forth. But one of the biggest issues that Tim Murray did was he totally screwed the pooch with the Rochester Amherst because he totally depleted the farm system.
Yeah, he killed the farm system. He deleted all those kids. There's nothing left to cover.
Right. And then they wonder why Rochester sucked for all those years. It was because of the fact that he totally depleted all the talent.
You have
and
you
he
have
killed the goaltending talent.
Right. You have nothing coming through the farm in these years. Nothing. Nobody coming through.
Right. I mean, and then
now,
yeah.
the time.
Yeah, so besides killing all the goaltending talent, then Botterill had to try to rebuild the system, which then, of course, he was stuck in a spot because with Rochester needing so much help, the Sabres needing so much help, and the cap, I mean, he was stuck. And then, on top of it, all the dead money on players we ended up buying out, a.k.a. Billy Lano's stupidest damn contract we ever signed, and players like Ehrhoff who didn't want to be here. I mean, and then, of course, everyone can remember Mikhail Grigorenko, who was a total bust as a first-round pick.
I had a lot of high hopes on Grigorenko when he
I did too. And then he thought he was better than McJesus, and look what happened.
And then, do you remember signing guys like Rob Niedermeyer back then, and then like, what was his name, Alexander Sulzer, like just guys that guys that you heard of like 10 years prior to them signing, but were kind of on the back end of their career. They kind of pulled the trigger on those guys too.
Right.
Sulzer wasn't that bad. I liked Sulzer, honestly.
Yeah, he wasn't on the team for very long, but when he was a grinder.
I liked him.
You got to have the right mix at the right time. That's all it is, and they're just not getting the right mix.
Right. I mean, remember when they brought in Corey Conacher from Tampa for a year?
I remember that.
Yeah.
Kanaka.
That really didn't work out.
Yeah.
Remember the Matt Molson trade?
Oh yeah.
It started off really well because Vanek was struggling badly and the Islanders, and then they were all chanting, "We want Molson." When Vanek missed on the shootout, I think one night they were all chanting, "We want Molson," and he I think Molson adjusted to Buffalo well, but Vanek played better when he went to I think he went to Detroit after that, and he played a lot better than how he did in the Islanders.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
the thing with Jack is that he has window. He couldn't turn it around, even with Sam and everybody else around him, Kane, O'Reilly. He didn't do nothing with. And I can see his side of things where, hey, man, this is 6 years. I'm in my prime. I want to start making, playoff cup runs. I got so much time in my prime. I get that. This whole neck issue is not going to fucking help the situation. His agent's barking off at the fucking gate. Not going to help his situation either. So that's putting Adams in a jam, but he's not going to fucking bend. He's not bending to anybody. He's going to hold his ground with the love that he's doing that. He's not going to settle for less. I want the trade that I want for my fucking superstar. Mm-hmm. I can wait. Fine. I can wait. You get the trade. Everyone thinks he's going to go down. He's injured. It's Jack fucking Eichel. Watch the film from years ago, not just last year. Even that was just also a game. Stick to your guns, but it's all about how he approaches this. Does he let this kid finally get surgery, rehab, and then back on the ice? And, here we go. Let's start the trade talks. And did they get that? Or do they? I mean, I don't know what his situation is because it's August and we're only a month away from season, really.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what he's going to do with this situation, but stick to your guns as long as you can. You don't have to really trade this guy till, at least the trade line. I don't know exactly when that no movement clause kicks in next year, but he's got time, and I don't blame him for holding out. I mean, he'll get a price. We'll get 4 pieces for Eichel at the very. We'll get that. It's just how we go about with the whole process with him.
Well, speaking of Eichel, I apparently found a rumor, and this is from Larry Brooks from the New York Post, and he said that there was a potential package in place for Jack Eichel to the New York Rangers, and he said it would include Jones, Georgiev, Kravtsov, and a first-round pick in next year's upcoming draft.
No, give me Kako or what's his name, Lafreniere in there, or I'm hanging up.
Need to get at least one established good player, first-round quality.
I mean, Georgiev is a beast. We definitely need goaltending. Oh, my God, do we need goaltending more than ever. But you should throw in one of those young offensive players, too.
Well, I think if they trade with the Rangers, they definitely got to get Georgiev because Georgiev actually just requested a trade like a week ago.
Right. Make him a part of it.
So that's what I think they should do is trade for Georgiev separately and not put him in the Eichel trade. Because I think if they put him in the Eichel trade, it's just going to drag on for much longer. Because there is no doubt in my mind, and Ellie Freeman had already said the Sabres are looking at another goalie. So I said, thank God for that, because I thought Andy was going to have a freaking meltdown if they went with Aaron Dell and Craig fucking Anderson of all people.
Let's say, what was the point of Aaron Dell?
There is no point. No point.
Exactly.
Well, if they didn't sign Dell, then that means they would have only had one goalie.
I mean, I'd rather bring up Eric Portillo than sign Aaron Dell to any kind of contract.
Aaron Dell is the last person I worry about because he's probably going to be on the Rochester Americans by the start of next season anyway.
Now, who knows? He might get a couple starts. He might look good in a couple of games as a backup. You can rely on him as a backup. I mean, more than Carter Hutton. Hutton's atrocious. Like, that was probably the worst signing that we've had in the past 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was atrocious last year, and they only played 56 games. And remember when Allmark went down?
Yeah.
And he was out for like a month, I think it was. And
yeah, Hutton blew a ton of games.
Who did you have to fill in the shoes? Oh, you had what was his name? Hauser and
Michael Hauser.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Hauser wasn't that bad. I liked Hauser, honestly.
Well, he's back in Rochester. He just signed a deal.
Right. Then he had Tokarski up here for a while. UPL got a taste.
So, I mean, looking at the draft space, cap friendly right now, Buffalo has around $28 million in cap space. What?
I'm looking at cap friendly too.
Thanks for sharing. I didn't realize that you were hiding behind a camera and just playing with your dick. That's why I announced it.
Sorry, I was thinking of your mom. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sorry your dad didn't approve that.
What?
Yeah, you heard me.
No, I didn't.
And I said, well, I'm sorry your dad didn't approve that.
Yeah, I know my dad can't approve because he passed away, dick. Thanks, though.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah, watch what the fuck you say.
I don't know. You're talking about fucking my mom. So you can calm your dick.
Well, at least I know she's alive.
Well, actually, yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna say that she's dead, even though she's not.
All right, let's not kill each other over a joke. That's just out of line.
I'm not. I'm just stating.
He was the one that brought up his dad.
I didn't know his dad was dead. I just assumed he was alive.
Weird of you just to assume things.
Well, you assumed that Eichel was a good player, and you also assumed that he was the least of the team's issues. So
not getting into this with you.
Listen, go cap friendly. Get all these teams cap space. And you can kind of figure out between players and picks and prospects and contracts who could really make a pitch to really grab Eichel. And for me, I'm still thinking it's Anaheim. This is the best place.
Although actually Vegas might still be a very possible team in the running too. I mean, the only thing is, of course, after they traded Fleury.
Well, yeah, and they also traded Ryan Reeves. I don't know if anybody caught that, but Ryan Reeves got traded to the New York Rangers for a third-round pick in next year's draft.
Well, the Golden Knights have 0 fucking cap space right now. So you want Eichel, you're going to have to make the cap match Eichel's. So you want Eichel, it's going to cost you at least Riley Smith at $5 million. At least be asking for an Alex Tuck at 4.7. There's $9 million right there. And whoever else you think you can garner from.
Well, Tuck is out for
And
6
the
months
number
with
one.
shoulder surgery.
I give a shit. He's 25 years old. I'll fucking wait. Who cares?
I'm just stating a fact.
His contract, he's got 5 years on his contract. So, I mean, he's $6 million less than Michael. Sure, I'll take it. I don't give a shit. He's a good power forward.
Yeah.
Riley Smith is 30. Well, his cap's going to match. Can't get Jonathan Marchessault Guy because he's got a no trade clause of some sort, limited no trade clause. So can't ask for him. Just got to look and see who you can play around with here on these teams and prospects and draft picks. I mean, look around.
Well, I don't know. I just assume things, and I'm sorry.
Well, on a totally unrelated note, so South Park has been extended through season 30.
Yay!
Yeah, and there's going to be 14 movies coming out for South Park, with 2 of them in 2021.
How the hell are you able to make 14 movies within reaching up to season 30? They're up at like what, season 23 already?
Yeah, so do maybe like 1 or 2 a year for the next few years.
Who knows?
I don't know. It's been I haven't seen South Park since the whatever that episode was, not the pandemic special. The what the hell was that? The vaccine special?
Something like that.
Yeah. So why don't we talk about the Evander Kane situation? Because that's been going around for a while.
He's screwed.
Yeah, he's
I
yeah.
mean, oh God.
Yes. Yeah, so supposedly Evander Kane is under a lot of trouble right now with the NHL. And it's being said by Curtis Pashelka that the NHL expects to conclude its investigation into Evander Kane by the start of training camp. The Deputy Commissioner Bill Dana says that the NHL's bylaws also state that any player betting on NHL game may be expelled or suspended by the commissioner of the National Hockey League. And then on top of all that, there was also rumors speculating that that the San Jose Sharks do not want him back, and some of his teammates don't want him back. And apparently, they think the San Jose Sharks are trying to actively move Evander Kane away from the Sharks because there was some betting, there was some alleged betting against the Sharks that came out publicly because Evander Kane apparently has a gambling problem and betted on some San Jose Sharks games.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that, and there's also been talks about, what do you call it? Yeah, so, and there's also been talks of him abandoning his family, abusing his wife, and traveling all around Europe and gambling and stuff like that. So there's been a lot of, like, mishmash of things going around with Evander Kane. I mean, he's a good player, but he kind of ruined his own career.
Oh, yeah, by far.
I mean, I liked Evander Kane, but I didn't like his attitude when he came over from Winnipeg to Buffalo. I thought he'd behaved himself for a couple of years, and then the allegations came out. So it's like anywhere Evander Kane goes, there's always going to be issues with him.
Right.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. So
Chad Green, pitcher for the Yankees, blew another save.
oh, Jesus.
Hate to see it, man.
You know what I also love to see? I love to see that Javier Baez is a New York Met.
Yeah, I was That was kind of insane what happened over there at the deadline. I must say, everyone's like greatest deadline ever. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know half the rosters anymore because of all the players that got moved.
Well, let's see. Craig Kimbrell got traded to the White Sox. Javier Baez went to the Mets. Anthony Rizzo went to the Yankees. So there was a bunch of players that kind of went the opposite way.
Chris Bryant went to the Giants.
Yeah, Chris Bryant went to the Giants. I totally forgot about Chris Bryant.
Well, the Cubs are cleaning house.
Yeah. By the way, Trevor, I meant to ask you, but we kind of got distracted throughout the show. But what the fuck is your background?
You don't know who this is? You don't know what this is? Okay, I will just inform you real quick. This is probably one of the most underrated third basemen in the league, Alex Bregman. He started his own salsa company down in Houston, Texas, called Breggy Bomb Salsa, and he has his own like little episodes, like little TV show episodes called Salsa Fuego, starring Alex Bregman, and it's one of the greatest things on YouTube history.
Oh, that explains it, because I thought I was a country singer.
Yeah, it's Alex Bregman.
Well, I mean, on the contrary, look at his face.
Yeah, he's all in serious mode because he's rehabbing a hamstring injury still. They need him back in the lineup because they're losing to the Twins right now.
And so you're saying the Astros are overrated?
They're not overrated at all.
Oh, no, clearly not.
Mhm.
They're not overrated at all. All they're talked about is in a negative light.
Throw more trash cans around the field.
That doesn't make them overrated. I think their talent is actually underrated. Everyone just skips over their talent and says, garbage cans, buzzers. Yeah, just a bunch of stupid shit like that. They overlook their talent and they just say, oh, they go back to something that happened 4 years ago.
I love when you get so defensive about the Astros when you know full well that they cheat. Oh my God!
Yeah,
It's
I know
Sean!
they cheated, but at the same time, I know they also weren't the only ones that were cheating. So, get informed.
What's up, Sean?
Oh, not much. How you gentlemen doing?
Good. What are you
Good
in Canadian
life, bro.
Because I want to thank Canada for beating the U.S. women's soccer team.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
I honestly forgot about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you, Canada, for humbling our team. That's what happens when you go woke.
Yeah, there you go. Karma. Yeah. So actually, real quick, just to touch base on Eichel again. So there was actually a podcast and also some information came out of WGR 550, and apparently, of course, Jack Eichel is actually working out again, which is good. But then Dr. Chad Prusmack, who is actually a neurologist that works with independently with a bunch of different players, both in the NHL and also in the NFL, was actually caught saying, quote, that disc injury is causing impingement of the neurologic structures, and it hasn't responded to conservative care, meaning physical therapy, sports therapy, etc. And he actually said that on Sportsnet's 31 Thoughts, the podcast. So then he said he's still symptomatic, and follow-up scans have shown this persistent issue. So I believe there's a unanimous sort of understanding that he needs surgery. So then he also ended up saying that there's two different types of procedures that Eichel might have to use. Either it's going to be an ACDF surgery, which is an anterior cervical discectomy and fusion, or an artificial disc replacement. But he's also saying right now that for Eichel, it's probably going to be an artificial disc replacement. And they're saying that the fusion has a 90% success rate, but it's also been documented that sometimes the bones don't heal, which that's going to be one of the problems. So, who knows what's going to happen, but apparently right now they're saying it's been done with rugby players, and of course they don't wear any protection whatsoever when they're on the field. So if a rugby player can get hit in the neck after it's been surgically repaired and still get up and play, then I mean, who knows?
Well, regardless of the situation, the guy's still a prick.
Okay.
I know, Trevor. You're like, okay, you know what, Bobby? Just get fucked, okay?
I'm just done with the topic. I just think the Sabres are going to be a joke for the next 20 years. So would it even matter if Eichel's on the team anyway? I don't know.
Have you ever
Gotta
considered?
give it time, kid. Gotta give it time.
Well, Sean doesn't have to answer this question because we already figured that out with him. But Trevor, would you ever consider switching teams, or any of you really?
No. No.
We're
Nope.
talking about in regards to.
Just in general. I mean, the Kraken. You already got the Kraken, so you're fine.
I will only switch teams.
No.
I would switch if like Colin Kaepernick signed with the Colts. That's probably when I'd switch.
Wow. Good old Colin Kaepernick.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah, it's
Okay.
awesome.
Well,
Okay. You go ahead.
sweet. I'm not the fucking host anymore.
well, I'm glad you got one because so did I.
Cool. Go get Sea of Thieves.
I'll think about it.
No, do it. I promise you. You'll have fun.
I'll think about it. No.
Sorry, guys. Had a brief internet outage.
Yeah, I was the host for like 2 seconds, and I was like, dude, I'm not mentally prepared to do this.
Well, you never know. We should bring you on as a guest host sometime.
I think I'd be a killer host, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, you already own a podcast, so that wouldn't phase me one bit.
It's
Right.
true, and I can broadcast from outer space.
yeah,
yeah,
true.
Oh yeah, that's true. Dang, you travel fast.
Very
I
true.
just launched into outer space now.
Yeah, be like the next Jeff Bezos, except it was kind of funny because now they said he's not even technically an astronaut because of
Never compare me to Jeff Bezos.
That was hilarious, like with the whole thing with Bezos, and it's like, oh yeah, well you're still not an astronaut, so too bad. You just spent like $30 million on nothing.
How nice. But yeah, in general though, oh, and Tomas Tatar or Tartar Sauce has decided to sign a 2-year deal with the Devils for $4.5 million, and the Seattle Kraken got Connor Carrick.
I forgot he was still in the league. Thomas Tatar.
I thought he retired a while ago.
I thought he did too.
Yep. Oh, here we go.
Tatar.
Yeah, Tatar Sauce. Yeah.
Tartar.
Yeah. Well, okay, so apparently there's some breaking news about the Colorado Avalanche. There's actually a brand new detail jersey on the design of their jerseys next season. You know how the numbers on the back of the jersey, they were like bold black colors?
I think so. I think I remember that.
They changed it. Take a look. I don't know if you can see it too well, but it's kind of like
Okay.
maroon. It's like maroon and blue, and they cut off the outline.
Kind of looks the same.
I'll show you a close up. I'll send it over to you. So, say, Andy, you guys can look at this for a little bit. I'm gonna send this all out. Sean, you too. I'm sending this to you as well.
Okay.
Because you just got here, so here you go. There's an opinion.
Yeah. Well, Bobby sends it out. Just a reminder for anybody that wants to jump on 929-205-6099 gets you in the Lions Den.
Yeah, we can talk about anything you want.
Mm-hmm.
Even Bobby's mom's up for discussion.
I don't know what he said. He was cutting out a bit, but I think he said something about Bobby's mom.
I think so too.
Even Bobby's mom is up for discussion.
What, Andy's? Unbelievable. So
that the Astros are losing to the fucking Twins 4-0.
that
Maybe
is
it's because you put them on a plane. They landed in Buffalo, or I don't know what I'm saying. They landed in Houston at 6:00 Buffalo time, and then they had to play tonight.
yeah.
And they're missing three of their starters. But this is, you know what? Talk about a fucking Mickey Mouse win for Minnesota.
Yeah.
Hell,
So yeah, so let's talk about some of the free agent signings from last weekend because I feel like we were able to touch up on them. So what do you guys think of the Philip Grubauer signing to the Seattle Kraken for 6 years at $6.5 million?
smart. Very low risk. I think 6 years is a lot better when you're paying him $1 million a year. That's very low risk, and he's a great goalie.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was actually a pretty cheap deal the way they did it. So I mean,
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with that. I mean, you figure you're paying him on average like $1 million, maybe $1.1 million or something like that. I'll take that every day.
Me too.
Yeah. What about you, Sean?
I'm all for it, man. You know me.
Yeah. So how do you feel going forward now with the Kraken with Grubauer and Drager going forward?
Let's just say I think I'm gonna enjoy this upcoming season.
Oh, I think so too.
Yeah, it's a nice tandem they got going.
Yep.
You know what? He's got the Kraken jersey. He's got the flag ready to go for October, and a bunch of cookies that are being delivered to his door right now.
Cookies.
I bought you a box of cookies.
Did you for real?
No.
Okay, I'm about to say.
I thought you were pulling like in I don't know if you guys saw EDP 445 like 3 months ago, but I just came to pick up a
Oh
cupcake.
gosh.
Dude, he's a fucking sexual predator.
Dude, he's like, yeah,
Oh,
I drove like 20 minutes to pick up a cupcake, and then I was gonna drive back home. Yeah, you're about to get with it with a 13-year-old girl, bro.
So bad.
How could he be that stupid?
Dude, he's literally a dumbass. And then like he's trying to make like all these YouTube accounts to like come back, and they keep getting shut down by YouTube.
Yeah.
And then he goes on YouTube, makes another account, and he's like, I'm blaming all my problems on you hoe-ass motherfuckers.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I used to have a lot of. I used to love that guy's videos. Like they were so funny back in the day. Like the one after the Cardinals game from a few years ago.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, with the freaking broomstick, like that was funny.
Oh my fucking god!
That was funny.
Great. I remember him and the bear, and he ends up like he gets flagged for intentional roughing.
What? Intentional roughing?
like
What is that?
roughing the passer or something.
Oh yeah, personal foul.
Yeah, he ended up doing that. But it's interesting though because now we're talking about EDP 445. I mean, I used to laugh at his stuff like hysterically, but they actually, the Goat brothers, put the entire exposed confrontation on YouTube.
Yeah, I cannot respect him anymore. I can't watch his
Same
videos
here.
anymore.
You
Like
can't even watch his channel anymore because his whole entire channel and period got shut down.
well, there are people out there that copy and paste his videos into other channels and stuff. Like his videos aren't going away. They're
Well,
going to be on YouTube one way or another. But I mean, just I can't even watch those.
Well, apparently he's not in Bakersfield, California anymore. He got out of that state.
Yeah,
So
'cause he probably had
apparently,
a death wish there. He probably had a death wish there.
yeah. So apparently now YouTube user Matt Simon 818 is his neighbor in Vegas.
He moved to Vegas out of all places. Why?
Probably.
Why would he go to Vegas? Why can't he just move to like Antarctica, where all sexual predators should be sent to,
Yeah, move to the Yukon territories in Canada. There's nobody there.
or move to like Saudi Arabia and see how the people there would treat you?
Oh, they chop off his hands.
Yeah, they
Or
probably
kill
chop
him.
off more than his hands.
I just have. Yeah, go ahead, John. You go ahead.
No, I was just reacting to what Trevor was saying.
I said I think they would chop off a little more than his hands, maybe a couple other things too.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Maybe his 40-pound triple Q cup titties.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh God, I'm looking through it. So apparently now he goes by the name User R.
Yeah, apparently somebody actually had the audacity to make a video game about EDP's sexual predator advances, and yeah, they made it into a horror game.
A
Yeah.
video game?
It's like a horror game, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
No way.
I think I saw a thumbnail of a gaming YouTuber playing it. I forgot who. I think it was, what's his name? Dom Plays, something like that.
Yeah, apparently. So if you haven't heard, Trevor, somebody actually made a video game, which I assume took a couple of months, and it was basically a joke about the sexual harassment cases for EDP, about the whole cupcake situation. So they made a whole background of an entire house in first-person perspective of the entire first 3 floors, and it's a completely in the dark, and it's white. And there's like 13 cupcakes you have to find around the house. And you have a naked EDP looking for you, and his crotch is literally censored with the Eagles logo on it.
No, that is horrifying.
I don't even want to think about that.
Oh,
What that would
God.
be.
I actually played it. It's actually pretty scary.
No, I would never play that because no. You know that EDP is like the biggest egomaniac, biggest like, oh my god, if you came to my house, I'd shoot you with my 27 guns that I have in my house. And then he'll come out later and be like, no, I don't want to fight you. Remember the whole Cold Raven feud with him?
Yeah.
Like there was a guy like in his area, like 10 minutes away, who wanted to fight EDP and put it on like this boxing channel. And he's like, I'm a nice guy. I wouldn't box anybody. And then he's over here threatening, like, man, this Eagles player came to my house. I castrate that motherfucker. I'm like, you're all bark and no bite, bro. Like, shut up.
Yeah, exactly. So there is some news that did come out about him. And apparently he avoided jail time.
Of course he did.
Oh, boy.
So
I'm not surprised.
yeah, exactly. So apparently the cops are saying he's probably not going to be facing criminal charges because the sting was botched.
Oh yeah, those guys were so stupid. Like, who was the really tall guy that like rehearsed his insults the night before and still like stuttered over his words all the time?
Chet Goldstein.
He's like, yeah, this is like your 600. This is like your 600-pound life. Like it was totally rehearsed.
Yeah,
Like,
so it was the channel Chet Goldstein, which is run by Alex Rosen.
oh yeah, he's a tool.
Mm.
I heard he's racist too. There's like something going out about him being racist, using slurs and stuff like that, and it's like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Come
Was
on.
he the guy that exposed EDP?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what. I remember because I saw that video.
I want to do the best Sean O'Malley impression. Oh my gosh.
I think we're getting off topic.
Yeah.
I know. I just wanted to
So,
completely distract him at that point. I saw his face and he's just looking at me. He's like, bro.
He's like not interested.
No, he's not even phased.
So any of you guys watching the Hall of Fame game right now?
Yes.
yeah, I've got it on. Actually, it looks like
Yeah, Pittsburgh just scored.
6-3.
I'm following the Minnesota Twins fucking lay the beat down on the Stros right now, which is pretty embarrassing.
Oh boy.
Well, it's the Strauss, so I'm not surprised by them.
What is that supposed to mean? They're a good team, Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
They are a good team.
Sure.
Like the bullet.
Oh, extra point. Very good. Went off the goalpost.
It's probably the backup kicker.
Oh yeah, it is.
Oh, jeez.
Loser.
It's some kid by the name of Troy Polamalu who is going to the Hall of Fame.
Some kid? I think he's a legend.
Wink.
Yeah.
Love Troy Polamalu.
Troy
Yeah.
Polamalu and his Head and Shoulders commercials.
Yeah.
Those were
Those
Yeah.
were legendary.
Did we get any comments tonight?
No, we didn't. I mean, we've had
They're
like,
like,
lots of-
yeah, Bobby's like doing impersonations all over the place. We're gonna exit out of this Facebook video.
Yeah. Although actually, one thing did come out of the Dallas Cowboys though, and Jimmy Johnson was inducted into the Ring of Honor tonight.
There you go. He deserves it.
Well deserved.
Yes, he does.
Yep. Well, he was with the Dolphins too, I think.
Yeah, he was.
Or as I like to call him, the loafers.
Dallas Cowboys legend Drew Pearson was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame today. Very well deserved.
So was Peyton Manning. I think Adrian James was as well.
Yeah, as I say, Peyton Manning, that'd be first ballot. He absolutely deserved it.
Oh,
Yeah, he's got
speaking
the
of Adrian
Johnson.
James, you guys see his freaking Hall of Fame car?
Yeah,
No.
dude.
Oh man.
I didn't see it. I did not see it.
All right, I'm gonna see if I can find it. real quick.
Yeah, put a picture of it up there.
Adrian James.
God, fucking shit.
Trevor, did you intentionally make your hair long like that?
Well, I didn't make it long. I just didn't get it cut.
You just kind of left it alone?
Yeah, I'm just letting it go. See what happens.
Yeah, it's all good.
Let it go. Let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah.
It's going. I'm trying to get like I don't know. Once it gets down to like my shoulders, that's when I'll cut it.
Jesus.
The Adrian James 75 Chevy Caprice.
Yeah, that is a beauty.
Yeah, that's it.
That is awesome.
Oh, I didn't even look at the. I didn't even recognize the rims, man. What the heck?
Yeah, the rims, and you got the Hall of Fame
Gold
logo
rims.
inside. It's a beauty.
Yeah.
This is Edgar and James.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Wow, that's a
He
key.
posted he posted it on Instagram too. I'm looking at that right now.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Beauty.
That is
That is a thing of beauty, without a doubt.
Mhm.
I'd fucking drive that thing around.
Yes.
I mean, imagine me just driving around my neighborhood, just driving around the block like, yo, gold jacket gang, let's go.
Mhm. Oh yeah. That'd be pretty sweet. And it's got like a convertible top on it. Hey, I'll take it every day.
Yeah, apparently there was a trade in baseball. Okay.
I thought the deadline was over.
Yeah, it's, for some reason they make interesting trades. Like I saw Cole Hamels was going to the Dodgers.
Yep. That was a stupid signing.
Yeah, and apparently the Red Sox have picked up outfielder Delino DeShields Jr. from the Texas Rangers in exchange for money.
Hey, he was a former first-round pick from the Houston Astros, Delano DeShields.
Yep.
My lord. They totally, they only used him for speed. And he didn't
I should just call them the Houston Asswipes.
Oh, let me just call him the Houston Asswipes.
Oh boy.
All right, boys, I'm not feeling too hot at all of a sudden. Oh, you're not feeling too hot? Are your titties not showing out yet?
Apparently it's bad because apparently there's now a channel EDP 445 deleted videos, and he's got one story time with Aurora, which is a kid.
He's talking to a kid?
Yeah, story time in bed with a kid.
Oh,
Oh my God.
Better be like his niece or something.
Yeah, seriously.
It better be, because it's going to look really bad on his end.
For real.
Yeah.
That's hysterical.
My God. God bless anybody who goes near him.
Yeah,
No.
there we go. I put it in the chat so you can see a screen cap of it.
Of the kid?
Of like what was on.
Oh, I'm tired.
Yeah, that's his niece.
Oh, okay.
Yo, I gotta make a killer intro for this YouTube channel thing that I'm doing. So, anyone knows how to make a sweet intro without getting copyrighted?
I will tell you, Filmora
Yeah.
is a great program, man.
What is?
Wondershare Filmora.
No, I can make one for you, Trevor.
Make it sweet. Make it like a whole bunch of just Astros haters crying, and then mixed with Astros hitting dingers, and then
Well-
put a pop-up song in there.
And then
Well-
I want that World Series celebration in there too.
Yeah, we want the parade in there too, bro.
Yeah, well, that's definitely something we could talk about, Trevor.
All right, so I just need that, and I need I'm making a logo right now, and I'm trying to figure out when I'm going to launch this thing.
It's up to you, man. It's up to you.
Seriously.
We'll get all the Astros Twitter on this too, so we can try to get. I want to set up a phone too, so we can take live callers. I want to try that. I want to do it all, man.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about Zoom. If you get Zoom Pro, the invites, it gives you 6 phone numbers you can use.
Nice.
I mean, it's only I think it's $15 a month or something like that, because that's what we use on here, and that it gives you up to 24 hours of continual recording time in a video.
I think that StreamYard uses that as well.
Yeah, it's not a bad setup.
No, not at all.
I believe
Charge the ball.
excuse me. I believe that's all we have for this week, boys.
Okay, I'm tired anyway.
Yeah.
I gotta get up at 4 o'clock to go to work.
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered it all, but we'll see what happens next week, especially if Jack Eichel actually ends up getting traded or not. Who knows? But
Yeah, so
we'll see. So in the meantime, Andy,
For a
feel
second
better,
while
man.
I'm fast, taking a bag of
Yeah.
bucks.
Sorry you got traded to the Buffalo Sabres out of all teams, Mr. Craig Anderson, but
Yeah, sorry, Craigie.
all right.
Okay, Jason Castro hits a home run. It's 4-1 now. Astros are on the board, baby. Let's go.
And also looks like the Steelers just got the ball back.
yep, I
Yeah.
just saw it. Interception.
Oh,
Oh, and if anybody who out there who's a gamer, if anybody who has a Series S or a PlayStation 5 or any of those shit, like Xbox One or PS4, just want to let you guys know that the beta for Back for Blood came out today.
anybody out there is an Astros fan and you want to be a guest on the Trev Stroh's Astros show,
Me.
hit me up.
There you go.
Oh, Mets fan on the Astros show. I don't know how that's gonna go down.
Dude, we already know. You already know how this is gonna end.
How's it gonna end? I don't know, genuinely.
Nowhere. It's gonna go nowhere because it's the same arguments.
Hey,
Yeah.
yeah,
Except the Astros are completely overrated.
right.
Underrated.
Good idea. Hey Trevor, we could always have it like as a sub channel of our Horns and Hooves group. Basically, have you run the channel however you want it.
Yeah, you're gonna have like these Buffalo shows and then just Houston Astros.
Yeah, why not?
I don't know, something to think about.
Yeah, we could always throw it as a sub channel here. It's all good. You've been with us long enough. You got your spot.
Sweet, that's always a good avenue to go to.
Yeah, definitely. So good stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think we got it pretty well covered for this week. So and of course Pittsburgh just it's gonna be 4th and 1 with the game of nobodies, and apparently Dwayne Haskins is the one that's throwing tonight.
What a loser.
Wayne Haskins. Oh yeah, I forgot he got traded out.
Just throw Big Ben and Dak out there. We want to see
Right.
something.
I
We wanna
forgot.
see something work.
Yeah, and apparently Haskins only has 24 yards so far.
That's pathetic.
I know.
That's hilarious.
He's been playing most of the game too, and he's only got 24 yards
Yo,
against a
why
team
don't
of
they
nobody.
send- why don't they just send Haskins to Indianapolis in exchange for Carson Wentz's contract and a 7th round draft pick and maybe a firm handshake?
I love how Trevor's laugh just comes out. It's like,
We're not making fun of each other's laughs now. I think we're done.
I make fun of everybody. You know this.
We're
Right.
done.
Exactly. Hey Trev, you back in the Buffalo area now? With school? being-
Yeah, I'm in I'm kind of looks like I'm off the grid right now, but I am in Buffalo. Yep.
All right, cool. Yeah, let me know. It's like,
Until like 2 more weeks, then I'm going back to what's it called? Bumfuck middle of nowhere.
oh yeah.
More like 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks or so.
Cool. I was gonna say maybe I'll have to take a ride out and have a beer with you before you go back.
Yeah, well, I got to turn 21 December.
You're gonna be 21.
We'll make it work. I'm 20 and a half.
No, you're fine. You can drink.
Yeah, I don't ever do that. I don't ever do that. Wink.
Yeah. It's all good. All right, guys. Anything else before we wrap up?
No, I'm good.
Go Stros.
All right. So thanks for joining us. It was nice to have you all again. Of course, we'll be back next week, and we'll actually keep an eye out too. We're gonna have our top 10 funniest moments and rants coming out soon. So you'll get to see that up on YouTube at some point. And in the meantime, Andy, feel better. I know you're feeling like crap right now, so I know you left the show a little early, so feel better.
Just over.
And if you want to see the rest of the episodes, we will put a link in the description of this video to see the rest of our episodes.
Yeah. Join us on, check out our YouTube channel. At least the ones that are not copyright stricken are up there. So, all right, guys, take care of yourselves and each other. We'll see you.